the way, this morning we also have brand new, as of 10 minutes ago, brand new Fox News polls, haven't been seen yet. The first we'll bring to you is on Biden's job performance on immigration. It remains at or near an all-time low. 61% disapprove, 36 approve. Who those people are, I'm not quite sure. Even worse for the economy and inflation, Will.
Yeah, so let's, with that, bring in GOP Congressman James Comer. He's the chairman of the House Oversight Committee. Glad to have you this morning, Congressman, on the program. You see these brand new polling numbers on Biden's job performance, and we're talking about this as this reporting comes out about what's happening to children and illegal immigration here in the New York Times. What are your thoughts?
Well, despite the narrative that the Democrats in Washington and the media are trying to spin that President Biden has been a huge success, his policies are successful, and the economy is strong, the reality is that the average working American is struggling, and the average American who keeps up with things realizes that Biden's policies are a disaster. So I'm not surprised by this polling, and I think that as more and more people realize that many of their problems are because of the bad policies coming out of this administration, whether it be the bad border policy, whether it be the bad energy policy or the bad foreign policy, Americans aren't satisfied with the direction this country's going in and the leadership that Joe Biden's providing.
Congressman, what I am noticing and seeing it becoming more and more clear is that the Biden administration's policies hurt the weak. The most. So whether it's these children that are coming over the border, inflation hurting the poorest among us, the working class, and also, you know, the drugs. I mean, everything is hurting the weakest among us. You know, I don't know how much more this country can take. So let's talk, speaking about that, about those that are weak, that are getting hurt. Let's talk about this Ohio train derailment. What can your committee do to hold people responsible for what happened in that town and all the bad decisions that have been made there?
Yeah, all we're trying to do is find out the process by which the Secretary of Transportation took once the accident happened to him finally setting foot on ground a few weeks later. I mean, you've got a disaster there. You've got an environmental hazard there. You've got a group of residents that are very concerned. They feel left out and abandoned by the federal government. This is a pattern we're seeing with transportation disasters, whether it be the airlines, whether it be the railways. We've got an infrastructure crisis in America, but yet all we hear from Mayor Pete, the Secretary of Transportation, is that infrastructure is racist, that he fears that with all this infrastructure money, only white people are going to be working these good jobs. And the reality is that we need leadership in the transportation secretary position. And we've requested information that any oversight committee, whether it be Democrat or Republican, would want, normal request. And all he's done is fired out tweets insulting us back. I mean, this administration has had no oversight during the first 2 years of their administration when the Democrats were in control. Now Republicans are in a majority. We're just asking for simple correspondence. We want to know what the plan is. What's the plan to stop all these transportation disasters? And they just thumb their noses up in the air. They won't respond to any request for oversight. It's getting to be very frustrating because we're going to have to start using the subpoena power to subpoena government employees to come before the oversight committee, which they're supposed to do anyway.
Well, Mr. Chairman, the American people agree with you. Our new Fox poll also shows that 57% of Americans disapprove of Joe Biden's handling of the Ohio train derailment. So we'll follow what you uncover in that process. But we want to move to another topic the Oversight Committee will be looking at, which is foreign entanglements, illegal activity as it pertains to Hunter Biden. And your Oversight Committee is working on the art. There's so many different connections and avenues, but the anonymous art buyers and the way in which money has made its way into Hunter's pocket still. What do you expect to find?
Well, fortunately, we're having people come forward now, people that were involved in the Hunter Biden shady business dealings. If you study all the different business dealings that Hunter and Jim Biden were involved in, just about every one of them ended in disaster. They have partners in every one of them, the partners they expected to do the work while they received the benefit. You have a lot of partners that are willing to talk, which is good. Information starting to come in, which is good. You know, with respect to the art, this happened while Joe Biden was president. There's no question about that. Even President Obama's ethics chief says it's a joke that Hunter Biden's allowed to sell art anonymously at the prices that he's selling them for. Anyone would realize that's a potential ethics disaster for the Biden administration. So we're pressing on the artwork. We want to know who the buyers were. We want to know why the University of Delaware and University of Pennsylvania received so many millions of dollars from China. We want to know why the Biden family received so many millions of dollars from China, Russia, and Ukraine. What were they doing in return for the millions of dollars? And is this administration compromised because of all the money that the family has taken in from China? I think these are legitimate questions. And fortunately for us, we have people coming forward with information that were involved in a lot of these schemes, despite the fact that this administration continues to stonewall and block us at every turn in trying to get normal oversight, to provide normal checks and balances for this administration.
Congressman, if you find direct links between the money that Hunter made going into Joe Biden's, I mean, I know we have the big guy, emails, and I would think it would be not too difficult to do a financial forensic, investigation. If you find that connection, then what happens?
Well, we're going to follow the money. That's why we've requested all the bank records. We have people that have come forward and told us things that we want to verify with the bank records. And I can tell you, these are very troubling things. And Joe Biden's going to have a lot of explaining to do to the American people, because remember, he said he had no knowledge of his family's business dealings. That is definitely not true. We want to determine whether or not Joe Biden benefited financially from those business dealings. We think we have the answer to that. We're trying to get those bank records to prove it.
Yeah.
Well, 70%, Congressman, of the American people, according to this brand new Fox News poll, do believe there was something at the very least unethical going on with Hunter Biden. 39% say something illegal. Another 31% say something unethical. Certainly in the interest of the American people to find out what that may be. We're glad you're on the case. Appreciate you being with us this morning on Fox and Friends.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, sir. All right.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.